Alright guys, so I'm going to cover some targets to the upside and the downside. Also, I'm going to cover some important support and resistance levels that will make me either bullish or bearish, and also cover this upcoming halving, which I do think is a bull trap. So this video I put up, it was yesterday, and I was calling for when we hit this orange ring here that we potentially would have a pivot. And we did get a move, but you know, a lot of people on here, this guy said wrong again. Great call for Bitcoin going to 1 million. I guess that was some sarcasm. Wow, what a big move again. And then someone here left a comment. He said 2 hours. How many hours ago? Dude, your TA's a joke. Face it. Find a new way. Being right maybe once or twice out of who knows how many guesses. You know, these are the same people that are going to get suckered in with this halving. And, you know, I guess they expect when I say that we have a move, they expect to see it go up 1,000 or down 1,000. That's not really how it works. You know, sometimes when you hit a ring, you will get a big move. The point is you get a move, period. If you get a move at the ring, you know, that puts you ahead of the game. But there's more to it than just how much it goes up. There's certain levels you have to break before you can go higher. And I'm going to cover this. By the way, if you do already have access to my charts, guys, I never mentioned this, but I do have a Discord. If you go under access charts, at the very bottom, the Discord invite is right here. And if you're already part of the Discord and you just want to access the Discord, just click this and it'll take you right into the Discord. But I forget to mention that, so a lot of people don't even know I have a Discord. Again, guys, all these charts are shareable. They play out on all devices. You can save them as your own. But keep in mind, if you save a chart as your own, when I make a change to one of the charts and save it, you won't see those changes on your saved chart. So make sure you have access to my actual charts. And guys, the charts I'm referencing today are these are the latest charts. Some of these, and by the way, guys, when I do have a chart up, it'll say Bitstamp at the top left. So all you have to do is just look for Bitstamp. I do have 2 Bitstamp charts here and 2 Coinbase charts, but the ring chart is this Bitstamp ring chart 418. This is the most recent. This is what I'm going over right now. So I just want to show you how this played out. While the move was not that big, you can see that when we crossed the ring, I mean, we only had a move of about 1.4%, but take note of the volume. You know, as soon as, you know, I said, well, as soon as we cross this ring, expect a pivot. Again, my bearish, I did have a bias that we were going to go down. Of course, we went up. You know, I can't always predict which way we're going to go. The most important thing is just watch me hit the ring for when that potential move happens. But while people were saying that this wasn't a move, you know, it does kind of look like normal price action. But you can see, look at all the volume here. As soon as we crossed, this ring, look at the spike in volume. They tried. I knew that this right here was a lot of resistance. You know, right here around $6,912. They tried to push it up, but there was too much selling pressure. It pushed us back down below this ring, which continued to make me bearish. But you can see right here, and I'll cover this. This was I made a tweet. I said when we approach this ring, expect a possible pivot. And you can see as soon as we hit this ring, we pushed up. But it took hardly any volume to push up because all the, I guess the selling pressure, there was no more selling pressure, so it didn't take much to push the price up. And take note, when we pushed up, we hit this pink ring, got rejected, stayed below this resistance level. And now we're currently finding support on this pink ring right here. So let me just show you a couple support and resistance levels just based on this chart alone. If we continue to push up, you will get resistance at 7,035. Your next resistance, keep in mind these are at angles. That's why I have access to the charts. You know, if you hit it here, the price is going to be different than if you hit it here. Your next resistance level is 7,063. And then you're going to get a lot of resistance up here at 7,128. Your support levels, if we drop down, we're currently finding support on this pink ring right here. So if we drop back down to where our current support is 6,937. You drop below that, you will have a lot of support. This was a lot of resistance. Now this can become a lot of support. This is 6,906. And then you're going to have a lot of support down here at 6,749. Below that, potentially, again, this is at an angle, 6,654. And then you're going to have a lot of support here at 6,397. So those are just some levels to pay attention to. But again, since we did push above this resistance, which now will become support, this does make me a little more bullish, and this does go along with the halving, which I will cover. So this is do follow me on Twitter, guys. The link to my website to access the charts and my Twitter account will be in the description and pinned as the first comment. So again, 21 hours ago I posted this, said when we approach this ring, watch for a pivot. This is the next post I made. You can see we crossed this ring, we had a pivot pushing us up, we got rejected here. You see all this volume. This was the post I made 9 hours ago. Guys, I will try to get videos up. It takes like an hour, maybe an hour and a half to record, process, and upload. So it's faster just to make a post on Twitter. So I made this post. I said pay attention in about 3 hours. When we hit this ring, watch for a potential pivot. It's a possible pivot ring. Down here I gave a thumbnail showing this actual fib circle that has this ring in it. You see this is this ring right here. But you can see what happened when we crossed that ring. We had a pivot, it pushed us up. Again, it didn't take much volume to push us up. So this is the actual chart. Again, I would like to show you some of these rings, how they, I mean, because if I zoom out, you know, people are like, well, look at all these rings, how do you know what's what? Well, the point is, I'll let you know what happens when we approach these rings and what to expect. But just for instance, so let me grab this ring and I'll show you. So I'm going to paste this in. By the way, this is the halving that's coming up. So if I paste this fib circle in, you see this fib circle is based on, it fits price action perfectly. You get support, support, you see resistance, resistance. Each one of these peaks, resistance, 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 resistance. You know, we get stuck in this channel, support right here. See, as soon as we crossed this, we had a pivot, brought us up to this ring. We found support on it. We found resistance. You know, this was our bottom right here at 3,850, pushed all the way back up. We're finding support on this ring. So guys, even though, you know, this is on the daily, you know, if you look at the smaller time frame, the 30-minute, you know, we're already out past this ring. So, you know, you need to be patient. You know, is on the daily, we're still within this ring. So something still major could happen. You know, this could potentially send us up a good bit, or it could send us down. And guys, if we do have a major crash, this goes to my peak of the bull run chart. This ring right here could potentially be our next bottom. That's where I was saying in that last video would be around 4,200. I'll put a link up to that previous video. That's this one right here. I'll put a link up to that now. So hold on, I got quite a few charts open. So that's one ring. Let me get rid of this. I just want to show you how all these rings do match price action. So let's look at this current ring that we're finding support on. This is one where we got topped out at, and now we're finding support on. So if I can get my cursor on that and paste it in. Actually, well, that was the blue ring, but you can see that we are respecting this. You can see we got a pivot right here, we got a pivot up here, found resistance. As soon as we crossed this ring, we had a drop. See, we found resistance, we found support. So it's totally respecting each one of these rings. So each one of these rings gives you a potential, you know, a support level, a resistance level, and a potential path. We were in this channel, then we were in this channel, now we're down in this channel, which means, you know, it's possible we could come back down and test the bottom of this channel. But again, guys, what the best thing to do is pay attention when we hit the ring. And also, these can be support and resistance. But I did want to show that pink one. Hold on. If I can get my cursor on it. Let's see. Copy. Paste. So, this is the ring we're currently finding support. So, if we go to the 30-minute, you can see right now, we're finding support. And when you really zoom in, you can see how well we're respecting these. See, we came back up. This is the second bottom we put in. We dropped down. We came up. We found support. You see we're finding resistance. We broke above, found resistance here, came back down as support, dropped below. You see now we found support, resistance, support, came up as support, resistance, more support, more support. Then we got above it, got below it, now we're back above it. So if we push back up, potentially, you know, 7,428 would be your target if we continue up. And if we drop down, potentially 6,235. Let me go back to the daily here, just show you a couple more of these rings. Let's see, so that was the pink one, had the blue one. Let's see, what's this green one here? So we're moving up this green one, and this is bullish. So you can see that we're finding resistance at this green ring. We're finding support on this green ring right here. So if we continue to push up, and again, this makes sense. We're coming up on the halving, and if you look at these YouTubers, everybody's talking about the halving. Make millions with Bitcoin, with the Bitcoin halving. You know, Sonny and these other people are saying it's crazy. If you look at Google Trends, and the searches for the halvings going parabolic. Well, they're part of the problem. I mean, they have 150,000 subscribers, and they're talking about the halving exacerbating the problem, getting more people interested in this halving. And I'm telling you, it is going to be the perfect setup to get people bullish right before this thing tanks one more time. But again, I do think it's likely we push up higher to get people, you know, bullish as possible. You know, it seems like people just do not learn. We were at 20,000, dropped all the way down here to, you know, 3,100, pushed up to 14,000, and we came all the way down to 6,500, pushed back up to 10,000, dropped all the way back down to 3,843, and now we're back up here, and people are bullish again, thinking, oh, we're going to be going to the moon. It's just like people never learn. Let me grab one more here. Let's see. Let's grab this one here, and this would be the next ring to pay attention to. This orange one. Let me paste this in here. Wow, that's really a small ring. You can see some of these are large and some are small. Let me get down to the 30-minute. So you can see right now we're pushing up to this ring. We're really, well, this is good. We're recording this live. Let me see how far this goes up. So I guess we can see real time where we're getting topped out. So that's what I was saying. This is the next ring to pay attention to. You see, we pushed up. We found perfect resistance on this ring. We're still moving up here. And again, this is what I'm saying. They want people to get bullish, to buy in. And look at the volume. Look at the volume it took to get to this point. All of this volume, buying and selling going on. And this is half the volume, and we've already pushed up to 7,065. But again, this shows you, you know, these rings, if you know where these targets are, you know, that's where we pushed up to and currently got rejected. So it's possible that we can continue to push down this ring, and as soon as we break this ring, we can push up to this next ring. So all these rings, I mean, again guys, I set these rings up a certain way. When price action matches to the left, you know it's going to match to the right. So that's what I'm just trying to show you. Each one of these rings in here, while it does look messy, every single one of these rings here match price action perfectly, and I'm able to add additional fib circles based on these rings to update price action, so you know when your next potential pivot point is. So that's my goal. That's what I'm trying to do. But let me go on. Let's see here. So again, this is a published version. A lot of people, some trolls try to get on here and say that I move my rings around, but these are published charts. I can't edit these, but this is just to show you. This is the same chart. This is where we cross this ring. You see here this volume. We pushed up, rejected the pink ring. We came back down, found support on this purple ring. This was that call I made when we would hit this white ring. We'd have a pivot. It pushed up. We found support on this pink ring. And you see currently we pushed up, got rejected right at this orange ring. So we'll have to watch and see what happens. This is another chart. This is the Bybit chart again, guys. So it's just always look at the top. If you'll see the name of the chart, it says Bybit right here. So when you access the chart, just click on Bitcoin, and right here is Bybit. So you load it up. So for this one, I want you to pay attention. This chart, let me just hide this. So for this chart, notice that when we cross the red ring, we come down, and we're bouncing back and forth in this orange fib circle here. We're finding support. We found support. We found support on this. We pushed all the way up, found resistance right here at this orange ring. You can see we moved sideways. We're also respecting this yellow fib circle. We found support on it. As soon as we pushed above this orange ring, we moved up to this orange ring. Almost made it up to this one. we were finding support on this one and resistance on this one. As soon as we were getting sandwiched between these two, as soon as we broke down, came down as support, pushed up, dropped right back down to this ring. As soon as we crossed this this yellow ring, we pushed up. So the next two rings to pay attention to, again, these are at angles. On this Bybit chart, you know, at current price action, if we move sideways, we are about 13 hours before crossing this ring. I expect something to happen when we cross this ring, as well as this ring. Now, of course, if we're higher, we hit this ring sooner. If we're lower, hit it sooner. If we stay where we're at now, the apex is further away. This ring is about 1 day and 11 hours. But what I did want to point out, when we cross the red ring, we come down. Cross the red ring, we come down. So it's possible we cross this red ring, we come down. So I would just pay attention to that, guys. Let me see. This is the Coinbase chart. This is actually the Coinbase B chart. So if we push up, and you can see the price has been respecting these lines in this fib channel. This has been a lot of support and resistance, a lot of resistance right here, resistance, support. We push below, we are finding a lot of support and resistance on this line. So if we push up, your next target before getting rejected, remember that orange ring gave us resistance. Well, if you push up higher, your next target is 7,122. And if we come back down, your support's going to be around 6,884. That's why it's good to always reference different charts. This one here, you can see we're having a hard time getting above this line in this fib channel. This is one of the Bitstamp charts. This is the Bitstamp B chart. So according to this chart, the highest we got before was this this green line in this fib channel. We didn't quite make it up here. Again, guys, that's why I'm saying if you look at this chart, and we did push above this, but we didn't get that high above. That's why you need to pay attention to these rings, because bots do respect these rings. It was pushed up right to this ring, we got rejected, and we'll have to continue to watch to see what happens. Let me see here. This is another chart. You see that, you know, on this one, this is a downward angle, but you see we're respecting this as support, and this was resistance. So if we push up, it looks like we could get topped out at 7,136. This is another chart to pay attention to. This is the Coinbase A chart. You can see that we also got topped out at this ring. We got topped out 1, 2, 3 times now. So it is possible that we continue to push down this ring. If we do break above this ring, then we could get a push up. Again, your next resistance above this ring is around 7,269. Guys, there are targets all the way up, and there's targets upside and downside. See, we got resistance here, here, here. So if we push up, a likely target is 7,765. And if we come down, you've got support here at 6,653. And again, this is what I'm talking about. They're talking about the halving. You know, the more they talk about it, the more people get interested in it, and they're going to buy into it, thinking, oh, you know, the halving's coming up, Bitcoin's going to go higher. But I'm telling you, it is a setup. This is my Bitstamp capitulation chart. This is my first capitulation ring. Since we crossed it, we came down. As soon as we got to this next ring, we started pushing up. We crossed it. We pushed up higher, and then we had our crash. We found support on this ring. We moved up it. Guys, we barely just crossed this ring. You can see we crossed it. We came up. Let me go to the 4 hour here. So this to me looks somewhat bearish. We were finding support on this ring. We broke below it. Now we're finding resistance. So this could continue to push up. If it does, guys, I think the point will get maxed out. Will potentially be around 7,777 before potentially coming down. And you can see that this ring right here has been a lot of support and resistance. Right here was a lot of support. We got some resistance, so it is possible this is the highest point we go before it comes down. It is possible we go higher. I mean, anything is possible. This ring right here has proved to be a lot of support and resistance as well. So if we push up, you know, I think the highest we'll go is 9,600 before this thing just tanks. I will try and figure out when that point is. That's my goal, is to find that target when we'll be coming down. This is the Kraken chart. Again, guys, reference up here at the top left, you see it says Kraken. So macro targets, if we push up, it looks like 7,412 would be your next resistance. I think this is the structure we're in. You can see we found support repeatedly on this trend line. We came down, we hit it as support. So I do think it's going to be more bullish going towards the halving. But again, if you'll take note, right up here at the top of this is 7,698, and that goes along with this ring here around 7,770. So again, always reference different charts, but I do think this is structure we're in. And keep in mind, guys, this is a rising wedge, which is a bearish pattern. We can bounce back up and forth in this, and it just seems more likely we'll be coming down. But they're going to try to push this up to get people bullish before we come down. This is the BLX chart. That is this chart here. This one. You can see we're finding support on this blue ring. You see previously we found support on this one. We found resistance. We finally made it up above. We're finding support. So as long as we're above this, I would be somewhat bullish. So if you're not using leverage trading, you're just trying to stay in, I would keep your stop loss around 6,733. As long as we stay above that, just ride it up until the point you're ready to sell. Keep in mind we're respecting this next blue ring up. So if we do push up, your target here is 7,457. If we push up to this ring, this would be 7,770. Again, this is the halving. I do expect us to crash at least before or after this halving. This is the peak of the bull run chart. Again, this is another trend line showing that this is our support. So this is our halving coming up. This right here is going to be a lot of resistance according to this peak of the bull run chart. This is around 8,000. That does make sense. We've pretty much been at 8,000 for the longest time. We go above, we go below, but we always end up back at 8,000. So I do think 8,000 is a likely target if they push this up before we have our drop. This is pre-market trading. This video, the stock market's already open. I haven't looked at it. We'll check that out. But people were bullish on the Dow Jones and NASDAQ, S&P 500. So obviously it's going to push up. Let's see. Yeah, we've already pushed up. See, we opened at 23,139 and we already pushed up to 23,464. So as long as this is going up, people are bullish. I'm telling you, the stock market and Bitcoin are completely correlated. You can see the price pushed up and the price of Bitcoin pushed up. So always pay attention to what's going on with the stock market. If the stock market starts dropping more, then you can expect Bitcoin to start dropping as well. You can see it's coming down along with the Dow Jones. So if this pushes down a lot more, expect price to come down too. But at the same time, even if the stock market does start dropping, it's in the best interest of exchanges to push this up, or at least keep it going sideways. Because if the stock market's dropping, Bitcoin's going sideways, people are still getting bullish because they think it's no longer correlated with the stock market. It's become a safe haven. If the stock market goes up, of course it's going to push up higher. People get even more bullish. We get to the halving, down we come. So just be cautious of that, guys. And especially if you're watching these YouTubers and they're saying, oh, the halving's coming up. Everybody's searching halving. If you do Google search trends, it's the search for the Bitcoin halving's going parabolic. Then the next thing they say is, check out my Bybit affiliate link. Guys, they make money on you losing money. It doesn't matter, if you're bullish or bearish. The exchanges know, whether to liquidate longs or shorts, what's going to be most profitable for them. And if you're using these people's Bybit and BitMEX affiliate links, they're going to make money off of what you lose. That's how it works. That's how they make their money. So just keep that in mind, guys. That's pretty much it. I will keep you updated on Twitter if I find any more rings where I expect to pivot. But yeah, do check out my website if you want to access the charts. The link for both Twitter and my website will be in the description. That's it, guys.